get out that thing and see what's down on the
Another
ground.
block. Louisville's second block of the game. And they'll take over deep in Austin Peay territory. Dan Foster with the block for Louisville.
He is a linebacker out of Louisville. He is right here from Palm Beach County. Good people, I'm excited to kick off this interview ahead of the NFL draft with none other than Dan Foster Jr. I mean, you're one of those guys out of the 5'6" that people are like, where's he been? What's he up to? Yep. This is what we're here for, man, to reintroduce you to the community. First and foremost, thanks for taking out time. And I know you're busy right now preparing for the NFL draft, a big moment for you.
Man, I appreciate you, man, very much. I'm happy to be here, I
swear. It's funny how this came about. I'm talking to a person who now I know is your agent, right? Yeah. Kevin White. And I'm also talking to this trainer from the area that people know, DeAndre Morgan. Kevin White, this is a guy who was on staff at Memphis, right? A college football coach, a guy that helped recruit the great D'Angelo Williams out there to Memphis, and a guy who has an eye for talent. And the way that he found out about you is what most interests me about the way that you pop off the tape and the way that I'm now starting to hear that your name is rising up on scouts boards and whatnot. He said he was actually representing somebody else that played at Louisville on defense.
Yes, sir.
And then he was like, now who the heck is 15? And why does he keep on popping off of this tape? And he ends up reaching out to you. What do you remember about that process? And what did he initially tell you that made you think, hey, my NFL dreams are actually real?
You know, like, I always pride myself in, like, always popping off the tape, you know, in the film. And when I play, like, I always like to make splash plays and just entertain the crowd, you know. Like, always been that type of guy as a kid, that type of player. So I always, like, feed off of the crowd, you know. So when Kev told me, he was like, hey, man, I was watching one of your guys, and you just kept popping off the tape. And I said, hey, man, that's how I got to be, man. You got to be effective while you're out there, you know. So I just feel like it was good that he saw me through film and not just word of mouth.
Right, and he saw you at this more refined, finished product out of Louisville, but your journey through football, it starts and it continued through so many other places. I want you to take me through that. So for those that don't know, you were one of the stars of Dwyer back when Dwyer was Dwyer, right? That was D-Block.
Yes, when we had Coach Jack Daniels. He's currently at Cardinal Newman.
Right, so you're one of the Jack Daniels, and we see what he's doing at Cardinal Newman, churning kids out residually
every
D1
year
products.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your days at Dwyer playing football, and what was it about being a Panther that, you know, propelled you to what you are right now today?
Playing for Coach D, it was great. I feel like he had us well prepared for college. Just getting to college and the football knowledge that I had, a lot of guys didn't have, you know. So, like, I knew I had a great high school coach, and then playing around other Division I caliber players, like, when you get to Division I, it's like, hey, I was already prepared for this. I went to school with 10, 15 Division I kids, you know. So Coach D know what he doing, you know.
It's one of those things where, like, was it one of those, like, hey, practice is harder than the game sometimes?
I swear.
Yeah.
And the freshmen, super fast. We always had a new freshman coming in every year, ready to play. So, yeah, Coach D really has an eye for talent.
And from there, you end up taking your talents to Marshall, right? Like, why Marshall? What was the signing day process and the recruitment like for you as a senior year?
Me and a safety that played together at Dwyer, his name JoJo Evans, we had like a package deal to go to Marshall. So like, you know, it was kind of cool to go to school with someone you grew up with from Riviera Beach as well. You know, two great players. So it was like we can go to Marshall and recreate what we did in high school. So we bought into that idea, and I feel like it was a good fit. You know, Conference USA, Sunbelt school. You know,
and for you, again, your stops didn't stop at Marshall. You obviously went to Texas State. You end up at Louisville. And it seems like everywhere you've gone, it's like people look at you and like, man, who is this linebacker? The way he chases after the quarterback, the instincts that you can't teach, the size, the speed, right? You're 6'3", what, 240?
Yeah, 240 right now, yeah.
So
solid.
You're obviously, you have the frame that NFL scouts and GMs are looking for. You have the ability and the instincts that they're looking for. What did you prove at Marshall that made Texas State say we want him? And then what did you prove also in San Marcos that made Louisville say, hey, he needs to be a P4 player today?
Well, really, you know, at Marshall, they created a great foundation for us. You know, I came in under Coach Doc Holliday. You know, he always was big on develop the freshman. So, like, just getting those reps. Like, if you was a freshman in practice, you would get times 2 the reps as the old guys. So I just built a great foundation there, and they transitioned me from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. So I have experience at every linebacker position, and they just kept repping me and things of that nature. And then, like, the things I would put on tape, I pop out. So I really left Marshall for more of a better opportunity for myself and my own brand. But I love Marshall, like, and just being a part of that family.
We are, right?
Yeah, we are. You know, they got the movie, you know, the We Are Marshall movie.
Yeah.
But like just that background has so much, like just being a part of that, like the 75, it's so rich in history from the plane crash to Randy Moss to the team rebuilding all freshmen and losing every game to being national FCS champions.
Yeah.
So like, you know, just being a part of that, you got to be there to understand, you know.
So you still got the love, obviously, for the Thunder and Herd.
I still bleed green, I swear, man.
So I'm curious for you, though. Do you feel like that kind of makes you more NFL ready? Like, you have played for, 4 different staffs at 3 different schools. I'm sure the systems were different. The language and the defense were different. And I hear also that you're a guy that also pops in special teams. You play a lot of special teams abilities.
Proud myself in that,
Like, so 53-man roster's calling, right? Like,
yeah, you know, I've always been a guy that, like, whatever the team needs me to do. So, like, special teams is nothing to me. Hey, coach, you need me to run down there and tackle the guy? I'll be the first one down, you know? But just playing at different spots, I feel like just learning how to adapt to different cultures and environments is a skill that you have to develop. Like, being a kid from Palm Beach going to West Virginia in the mountains, it was like a culture shock.
Come on.
I'm calling my mom every night, like, Mom, I want to come home. She's like, nah, baby, you got to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like just jumping around to different environments and cultures, like, it really helped me to be resilient, you know what I mean? And understand that, like, everybody comes from different places. We're all good. We're all the same people, but we all relate in different ways. So it really just taught me how to be a people's person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And it's funny you say that, because when you're at West Virginia, when you're in West Virginia in Marshall, you're in a place where you're uncomfortable.
Super. You're
in a place where it's just super unfamiliar. You grew up in Riviera Beach. You played at Dwyer High School. You're a South Florida kid.
Yeah.
And I've been out here long enough to know what that means. Y'all boys love y'all some South Florida.
They love us some heat, too.
Hey, yeah. So I find it funny. One of my favorite documentaries out that I've ever watched is the Donda documentary with Kanye West, where it just shows you up close and personal how influential his mother was in his life, instilling confidence, instilling faith, like the stubbornness that he's had that has helped him grow, but then also maybe has been a detriment here and there. That all came from his mom. How much was your mom the one that has kept you going, not just in your high school days, but also through these last 4 years?
Man, I couldn't thank God enough, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, just I'll talk about resilience and consistency and all that stuff, but, man, my mom, the true definition. My mom's so heavily in the community. My mom's more than a mom to just her own kids. So just my mom was always there. My mom's a bus driver.
Oh, really?
So,
oh,
like,
man.
She community person.
I know that's love.
She on the bus, you know, every day, treating everybody like they're her son. But, you know, just my mom really made me a people's person to understand, like, to really have a heart for people. So, like, my mom just every step of the way, from elementary to middle school to high school, she always made sure I was on top of my grades, even when I was a knucklehead. Like, she still was there. Like, my mom never really my mom's super big on faith, super big on church, super big on belief and just working hard. And my mom never wanted me to ever even leave a school. She was always like, "Oh, just stay there, baby.
Want you to be home."
You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
how many siblings you got?
5 from my mom, 5 from my dad. And I'm the middle child.
Oh, man. So
dead slap in the middle.
No wonder you're so tough, though. You're taking it from both sides. You got the young ones, the young whippersnappers coming at you, and the older ones hazing you.
Man, I'm telling you. But I always feel like I was always the oldest, man. They say I always act like I was the older child.
Yeah.
I always did my own thing, go outside with my friends and play ball.
Just mature. Just
mature.
Man,
all I wanted to do was play ball growing up.
And you know what? You've done a lot of that. Dan Foster Jr.
God
here
willing.
joining us. Dan Foster, 6'3" linebacker, 240, can play all 3 linebacker positions, has fit multiple schemes throughout college. And again, like you said, very hefty in playing special teams positions, being able to be adaptable, whatever coaches need. What have you been hearing from scouts about where you might end up in this NFL draft? Because I know your mama going to be right there by your side waiting.
Ready, jumping up and down.
Look, the family going to be surrounding you. What have you been hearing just early on?
I've been hearing a lot of late talks, like late round 5 through 7, or like even undrafted free agent. But, you know, like for me, I just know if I go out there and showcase my talents, my ability, like I always have, I know I'll catch the eyes and get all the same attention I always was getting. So,
of course.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I just keep ducking my head and keep working. I know it's going to be there for me. You know, right now it's about putting in the work until that day, you know.
And I can say, number one, you're bright, obviously, right? You also have been to all of these different places, right, these different schools, and you know how to adapt. And I think that's a skill you can only learn through experience.
I'm telling you, man.
Dan, this is great. When you first walked in and we met, I realized, I was like, this is a good dude right here. This is good people.
Oh, yeah, man. It's an energy thing, man. My mom always told me, like, you can feel a person's energy when you come in. So always, you know, don't let anything bring you down because, you know, you might be having a bad day.
Yeah.
But people can read your energy, man. Your light might be the next person's, you know, the reason why they have a good day just by checking up on them. Hey, how you doing? You know,
100%.
You could change their whole day, you know.
Look, we getting life lessons and a little football talk from my guy Dan Foster.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man.
As he preps for the draft. So what has prep been like? Where are you at right now? Who are you training with? And what are you specifically working on so that you either go in those late rounds or you set yourself up to be a UDFA and you get to pick your spot and pick your situation?
Yeah, I'm currently out in Houston, Texas, training at Orange Sports.
Hold on, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
That's the crib,
Yeah,
man.
hometown, H-Town. Yeah,
that's the crib. I'm from Houston.
Yeah,
so, okay, so you're with good people. Where you at?
I'm at Orange Sports and with Derek Blaylock, a former – he's an NFL vet, former vet. He played for like 8 years for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
He ran like 4.36. He trained guys every year. Every class he puts out, the whole class time drops dramatically. So I was like, hey, this is a guy I can, you know, invest my time with. I feel like I'm in good hands with that guy, you know.
How'd you find him?
Through a guy, it was a guy that I played with at Marshall. His name's Tavante Beckett. You know, he was an All-American.
Yeah.
Ended up going to the Lions. This is back 2 years ago. And I was a freshman. No, about 3 years ago. I was a freshman in college, and he was training him for the draft. And he came across me. He was like, man, who's that kid you play with? I seen him on TV, like, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
So then he introduced him to me. We follow each other on Instagram. And 3 years down the road, it's my time now. And he was like, hey, Dan, let's get this work. You know what I can do. I showed you.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, yeah, he already sent the guy that I know. So I feel like I was in good hands, you know, and my corner also know who he is. And a lot of guys, and Derek Blaylock is a very known person.
Right, of course, yeah. That's that name gonna ring some bells.
Yeah.
And I will say this, as they got you in Houston right now, as a brother from Houston, stay focused.
Now I'm focused,
Stay
man.
focused
I'm out in the suburbs and Katy. And I take about an hour drive every day up to Humble, Texas.
Humble, yeah. Come on, you know the H is silent. Come on
H is silent.
You know, I hate that about this is a sidetrack. This has nothing to do with your NFL journey that's about to happen or what you got going on. Whoever the heck in Texas decided we was gonna make the H in Humble, Texas silent and make it humble, you screwed me up for life.
Yeah.
Because growing up in Houston, you're trained to say humble.
Yeah.
And now you got this subculture of folks who go out into the world who, like me, I had to get trained out of it because I'm a journalist now, so I've learned. Okay. There's so many people that still pronounce humility without the H or humble without the H, and I blame Texas. Whoever the heck invented that town.
See, the thing is, when I showed up, man, I'm like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, I'm on the way to Humble. They're like, Humble?
Bruh,
you know, I'm like, yeah.
People?
I'm like, it says Humble. Like, you know, yeah.
I got the same problem with, in Georgia, there's a county, Houston County, spelled Houston. Can we just get on the same page?
Yeah.
Can we just, come on. So I'm sorry to sidetrack and steal from your joy and your journey, but I had a bone to pick. Dan Foster Jr. With me here on ESPN 106.3. Theoretically speaking, your boy Theo Dorsey, and we're talking little ball. We're talking about your journey.
Facts.
When you look out this window and you see we're out here at the City Play Studios, you see what West Palm is turning into now. You think about your days growing up in Riviera Beach and being in and around these areas. Like, what is this area now, and what was it like when you were growing up?
This was the spot growing up.
You know what I'm saying?
Coming to City Place, Clematis, with your homeboys.
Yeah.
Y'all about 5, 10 deep. Everybody get $20 from their mom. We go to the movies. Well, we'll meet all our friends from school. Just seeing it now, like they done built it up. You know, I'll be gone for years and I come back and it just look crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, they knocked down so many buildings.
The
theater,
knocked down
the movie
theater.
The movies.
Can't even catch a flick no more. You gotta drive out to like
I'm heartbroken, man. Yeah, I got so many memories, man. Just I remember they used to have the curfew for the young guy, for the young kids. Like if you weren't above 18, they'll escort you out. You know, I just remember all those days, and my childhood is really here. You know, so it's just rich. You know.
What's the most misunderstood part of what a South Florida kid is, and specifically what's the most misunderstood about the Raw, Riviera Beach, as they call it, the Raw? I know. Look, I've been around.
You know a little something.
What's misunderstood about that area and the athletes that come out of there like yourself, who you might come from surroundings where you're looking around, you're like, oh, I don't think well of these kids based on either appearance or what their certain structure is right now, but y'all are just trying to make a way for yourselves and provide for your family. What's misunderstood about that?
I really feel like it's just a culture thing, like even from like hair, things of that culture, things of that nature, like how kids have the wigs. Like I remember having the wigs are like big dreads. I remember having the big dreads growing up and being recruited by schools, scouts would be like, man, what you gonna do with your hair, man? You know, they probably viewing you a certain way as a kid, but it's just our culture and what you see.
Yeah.
Having like Caribbean backgrounds, you know, we so close to like Jamaica and Haiti and all that. Just having like I'm partial Jamaican. My father has some Jamaican in him. My grandfather that passed, he was Jamaican. So like, you know, my mom wasn't really big into like having dreads and all that. She was, you're not,
cut them dreads off.
Cut them dreads off. Yeah.
My little brother's the same way. I told you my little brother's at Texas State. One of the schools you stopped
just
at.
like me, yep.
He did finally end up cutting his dread. The difference is he ain't 6'3", 240 and run a good 40 and can cover as a linebacker like you. He need one of them business jobs. So I'm like, I get it maybe. But I'm glad that people like you and other people in the business world too can show, hey, this means something to me. Yes. This is my identity.
And I can be professional.
And you still can, come on.
Yes, like that's why I showed up with my hair braided down, you know. Sometimes I feel like it just it's all perspective.
Yeah.
You know, like if you watch movies and you see guys with dreads doing bad stuff, you go be like, guys with dreads do bad stuff. But if you meet a guy like me, hey, like I play football, you know, I'm a family person, I'm a man of God.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like it's all perspective. And the more you know, the better, you know.
You're a family person. What makes you a family person? Why you do you describe yourself as that, and what does that look like on a day-to-day for you?
Big mama, you know, my mom, man.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always been a family person. I just like seeing people smile, like, and bringing joy to people, you know, and I always did that with football. So, like, my family, like, the happiest I ever seen them is when I had accomplishments. So, like, I know, like, hey, the more I accomplish, the happier my family will be. Like, you know, it's always great to look at TV and say, hey, I know that person.
Yeah.
Because I used to do it when I was a kid. Like, you know, I had an uncle that played basketball at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. His name's Stephon Moody.
Yeah.
He was hitting game winners on TV, and I'm in the living room going crazy. It just let you know that it's possible. So, like, I always been a big family guy, like really a big community guy. Like I always, because I know how it feels to struggle and things of that sort. So like,
you say your mom is a bus driver. She bus driver in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, school district. Yeah.
So for you, what is and obviously I know an NFL check is coming, whether it comes by the way of draft or UDFA or whatnot. It's a common question, but what are some of the first things you're gonna do when you do find this newfound money, and how much of it is going to be oriented to taking care of that woman that has been such a linchpin to you your whole life?
See, my mom can get whatever she wants from me, but I feel like my mom would, just to be honest, she would tell me something like, hey, son, let's make sure we invest your money wisely and not just think you got what you don't got. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, a lot of guys sign a $1 million contract, then you got $1 million, but then you got to account for taxes, things of that sort. So, like, I feel like really just getting a good breakdown and then, like, understanding what I really got and then take care of the necessities first.
Yeah.
Before you get to buying. Because, like, you know, right now, like, I got a smooth car that I can drive, you know, that I can have for at least another year or two. You don't always got to cash out. But
you don't need to do it all
but it's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, though, you know?
Yeah.
So you got to treat yourself, but you just understand your balance and who you are and your budget and what you got to account for.
Good. And you know what? That was almost the perfect answer there.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, because honestly, that's where you should be focused. Some people are out of the gate, I'm going to get her a car, I'm going to get her a house.
Yeah.
No. You're going to take care of her in whatever ways you can, and you're also going to make sure that you're setting yourself and her and your family up for the future.
For sure. Invest that money, man. And to all the young guys out here, get into cryptocurrency, man. That's where the world's going, so, yeah.
It's universal.
That's a little piece. That's just my little piece.
Little piece of game.
Yeah, that's just my little piece.
I'm going to drop that off on you.
Yeah, drop that on y'all, man.
Who's been dropping game on you? Who in this area that might have a name or maybe doesn't have as much of a brand out here has helped you get here outside of your direct family?
Shoot, I'll start off with just like my trainers, guys that have always believed in me in my corner. His name DeAndre Morgan.
Oh, D Morgan is the man.
Yeah, he Dynamic Fitness Pros out on North
Palm Beach.
North Palm Beach, yeah. He was the guy who went to Suncoast from Riviera Beach. He always like mentored me, worked me out, told me, "Hey kid, but you got the film. You got the film, the size, man. You get swole, man. Every nation, everybody in the nation gonna love you, man."
Yeah.
So like just that belief and having him in my corner really. Man, he's unbelievable, man. I really appreciate it. He was a family friend. He knew my mom. Him and my mom grew up together in Riviera Beach. So as my name rose on the football scene, he was like, "Hey, I know your mom. Like, your mom know me. Like, we went to high school together and things of that nature." Yeah. So, like, that's why he was just always – he's really a family friend more so than –
When did you start training with him?
Summer of 10th grade, going into my junior year when I started picking up college football offers.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, man, just go full throttle." He just really taught me about my body and understanding, like, it's more than just lifting weights. Like, yeah, you got to lift weights, but you got to be flexible. Mobility, eating right, diet is half the battle. A lot of guys don't know that. And, like, for me, I came into college 250.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 240, but it's a completely different 240. It's because like a diet, you know. So D Moore really was big on diet and just understanding your body. So like, yeah, he helped me a lot.
It's
Abe Elam as well.
Abe Elam as well. So
Yeah.
it's funny, like you hear more about Abe Elam's impact, and people know who Abe Elam is, right? Former NFL player, father of Khair Elam.
Yeah.
You know,
Great
the
dude.
Elam family name resonates not just through Palm Beach County, but really nationally because of their success at
Shout
the
out
NFL
Khair,
level.
man. I see you balling in the playoffs, man.
Already, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see my dog. So you take that the next step, and you have guys like DeAndre Morgan who don't necessarily get that spotlight as much.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you the amount of times when I'm
Impact.
either talking to an athlete, hearing about an athlete, or finding out through the grapevine that DeAndre Morgan has helped this person. And it's not even like one of those like, hey, I need this off of you and then I'll help you, a little quid quo pro.
Never.
He's just pouring into the community.
Never. He just point
Why?
like
Why?
I just feel like it's because his heart, man. He
Yeah.
has a heart. I feel like when I look at DeAndre Morgan, I kind of see myself in the older version. You know,
Yeah.
it's like his heart. Like he just wants the kids to do well. Like he'll catch a kid and just be like, "Hey, man, I see you want to play football, man. Just show up to the gym every day at this time. You go get this work. Tell your mom don't worry about it. We'll figure it out." you
Yeah.
know? And there's not a lot of genuine guys out here like that. Everybody's looking for something in return.
Everybody
you know,
wants something.
yeah, but you know, it is
Yeah.
the world. You know, nothing's free. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's nothing to pour into your community and your youth. And I feel like that's something in Palm Beach that we should focus on more. And I feel like with the talent, the rich talent we got down
So
here,
much talent, man.
if we just invest a little bit more into the community, we'll have more Khairs, more Scotty Barnes,
Yeah.
more, you know,
Look, it goes far.
it goes
deep.
on and on.
And I will say this. There's
A.T. Perry.
A.T. Perry, right, is
Like,
who was a dog. You got the
so
Scott
many,
brothers
bro.
at Illinois now, Zanai Xavier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it's a talent-rich area, and you come from it, right?
Yeah.
As a Dwyer Panther, as a Riviera Beach native, because y'all got a lot of it there. You know, we
Yeah.
don't talk about it enough. Devin Hester.
Devin
right?
Hester,
Like,
Hall of Fame,
come
man.
on. We don't talk about it enough, but a lot of it is Riviera Beach. I know Pahokee and
Yeah,
the Muck
Pahokee,
gets
the
its
Muck got
shine.
it too. They got it too. Yeah.
I just want to. I just feel like for some reason we don't talk about Riviera Beach enough.
I feel like because it's like a smaller town, like so people out of town they would consider it West Palm Beach.
They do.
still.
They do.
So like a lot of times when people ask me where I'm from, I'll say, yeah, I'm from Riviera Beach, a small town in West Palm Beach.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like right outside.
Just to give them
West Palm
reference, like I'm from Houston, but I'm from Mo City.
Beach. Yeah.
But I'll tell people if you don't know about Mo City, I'm from Houston.
yeah,
Suburbs,
yeah, you know
slightly
what I mean?
outside.
Yeah.
I get that. I just say this: the fact that we know about the Muck and we don't highlight the many names that have done it out of Riviera Beach. Again, that's something that's going to change. The more and more
Right.
DeAndre
That's what
Morgan
I'm here
pours
for.
into
Yeah.
it, the more and more you get spotlighted. So then let's wrap it up like this. I want to talk about specifically football now because we done talked about everything in the book. Who is Dan Foster Jr., the linebacker? Who are NFL teams going to be adding to their locker room if they get lucky enough to do so?
Man, you know, I feel like you go grab a worker, resilient guy. You know, when I hit people, you gonna know I'm hitting them. They gonna feel it. You know, I feel like I'm very instinctive, very rangy, sideline to sideline. Got great speed. You know, I feel like I know when to trigger. I can see things before it happen. You know, and I just feel like I bring a lot. You know, I bring versatility, and I feel like I bring resilience. You know, like, and I can adapt. So anything I'm that's needed out of me, I can fulfill. You know.
You currently, and I know around this draft process time, a lot of guys are getting stuff for free. A lot of guys are getting housed in a comfortable situation, getting put on meal plans that are free of cost. You know, they get to walk to facilities and work. Tell people what your setup is again as you're trying to train for the draft.
Yeah.
You're driving what, like
an hour? Yeah, it's dedication, man. I reside in Katy right now, and my training facility is in North Houston, Humble. So it's about an hour drive, an hour and 10 drive every day. But, you know, I feel like it helps me with regiment and consistency, like with my eating habits and everything. So, like, hey, wake up, get to work in the gym, get my recovery, and back home. That's all I need, you know.
Yeah.
I don't need outside distractions, you know, just me, my family, and God right now. Well, all the time, not just now, but right now the most, especially, you know, because it's a vital time of my life transition. But, like, I feel like just having some type of regiment actually helps me. So I know I got to take that hour drive, so I'm not staying out. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
It's easy to stay out in Houston now. Look, they got the options are there, but you're staying focused because you got a dream to fulfill.
It's way more out there. Houston will always be there, man.
Yeah.
You know? But your opportunity isn't, you know.
You get it. I know I ain't got to preach it to you. I'm getting it out of you so that the other kids watching this that are from the area or all throughout the nation watching this.
And I ain't always have it, too, so that's why I like to pour into, like, my youth or the guys around me, even my friends to this day, you can always learn from someone, you know?
Dan, okay, so you just admitted something that I think is important. Because a lot of people that see people like you and they see that you have it, they assume you were born with it.
Oh, no,
and they assume because they don't have it yet, they'll never have it.
Nah.
So take me back to the moment, or at least the general area in which you feel like it clicked in your mind, where your focus shifted and you blocked out the distractions, blocked out any barriers, and locked in on what you actually want to be.
I remember I was in high school, and there was this guy. He's a Hall of Fame coach. His name Bill Parcells. You know.
I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
He like the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah. Come on, man.
I said that too casual. I said that too casual.
This is guy Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells. Yeah. But he's real good friends with my high school coach and with A.B. Lam.
Yeah.
So I met the guy in high school. He always just told me like how he liked my energy and how I was as a person, like my smile and just how I was, you know. So I remember I was like being a knucklehead or whatever, and he talked to me one day. He was like, Dan, do you want to get your mom out of that hellhole? I just remember it was like a speech he gave me, like it stuck with me for the rest of my life. He was like, Dan, you want to get your mom out of that hellhole? You see what your mom's going through? Like, you don't have time to play. Like, you know what I'm saying? He would just talk to me like real, like almost like father to son, you know. My father's incarcerated, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like, he was talking to me in that sort, like really getting my mind together. And I remember after talking to him, I was like, man, this guy don't know me from a can of paint. And he's talking to me like he got all the love for me in the world. So after that moment, I just realized, like, bro, this dude a Hall of Fame coach. If he could believe in you, bro, you got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got something that he's seeing. So, like, after that, I always, like, okay, I'm full-fledged. Like, no distraction. Like, obviously, I've stirred and got off track.
Yeah.
And I haven't been perfect, but from that moment on, I always knew I had what it took. So, like, no matter what, nothing can shake me from I had what it took. And God told me before he did, so I already knew.
It's just affirmation.
Yeah, affirmation. And then, like, a guy of that caliber coming to tell you that, kid, you can go to the NFL, like, if you'll be a fool not to believe him.
Yeah.
He coached the best defensive player ever.
Lawrence Taylor,
greatest ever.
A 2-time Super Bowl winning coach and whatnot.
Bill Belichick under his tree, like, come on, it just go on and on. But, like, I went home after I first met the guy, and I said, who is this guy I talked to today? And I remember when the guy met me, he was laughing like, you don't know who I am, do you? I said, nah, you look like somebody off NFL Network. He started laughing. He said, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I go home. I tell Mom, I talked to this guy today. His name, Bill Parcells. My mom say, Bill Parcells. So I Google it. It come up, man. I'm like, I was so embarrassed because I really didn't know who he was. I was a young kid, though. I was like 10th grade.
Come on, you can't expect the kid to know. But it's hilarious because he's looking at it like, I love the humility and also the consideration that Bill Parcells gave you in that moment, because he could have been a jerk.
Yes,
he
for
could have been like, I've won Super Bowls. I've coached the greatest.
How do you not know who I am?
You're a young football player. You should be studying the game. He could have held that against you. Instead, he came into it with a level of, similar to how you just did, you assumed I didn't know who Bill Parcells was. And he gave you that grace, and he also gave you some game in that moment.
Yeah, facts. Like Bill's so genuine, like. And, you know, like, I pick up things from everyone. I think that's a good trait that I have. Like, even if I'm in a room with guys and a guy could be in front of me or even behind me, and he doing little things like that are good that I pick up, I'm going to pick up on it. So, like, I just feel like Bill's such a genuine person, man. And then, like, how could you not want to be like Bill Parcells? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You want to prove him right, too.
Yeah. So, I always want to prove him right. I'm still doing that to this day. Shout out Bill, man. Shout out Bill Parcells, man. Greatest ever.
One of the greatest. And it's funny because I think a lot of us have that journey too. And again, I want this to click with people because I want them to feel how they can use it in their own lives.
Yeah.
You spend so much of your life trying to prove people wrong. You spend so much of your life trying to make people who doubted you have some level of like, man, I should have known. Yeah. Whereas then there comes a point when it clicks, when somebody who is of stature, or maybe they're just in there in the right place, right time, believes in you and says something confirming what you believe. And now that I think a gear shifts where you're like, I want to make sure that they didn't waste their time speaking to me, you know?
Yes, and everything is perspective, you know? So, like, even when guys doubted you, you should never, like, I used to fuel myself of, like, I'm going to prove them wrong. Nah, I'm going to prove myself right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you have that mindset, I feel like you'll never run out of juice, because if you run off haters, what you going to do when they stop hating?
You're going to run.
Run. Eventually, you're going to need new motivation. So, like, my motivation is within, you know?
Yeah. That's
how you doing, man?
That's how it's got to be. You getting thumbs up. That's them approving of your draft stock as it continues to trend up every time you speak and every time you play.
Yes, sir.
I got sidetracked again. You have so many great stories to tell. We're probably gonna have to do more of these going forward.
Oh yeah, you know I'm an open book. Man.
Right. But Dan Foster Jr., you're preparing for the draft. One last thing. I got two last questions actually. Dan Foster Jr. has a successful NFL career if fill in the blank.
If I do what I'm supposed to do, and I will do so. You never lose. It's always a lesson, you know. Like even if you don't get what you're trying to get out of it, it's always a lesson, which is always a win. You know.
Yeah.
So like even if you don't go first, second round, you get an opportunity. You make the opportunity out of that. That's an opportunity I can share with my whole family and show like, hey, this is what I persevered through. You know, I'm big on perseverance, so like I'm gonna do what I need to do. I feel like long as I do what I'm supposed to do, which is show up every day and be myself and work and keep my faith in God, I can't fail. Ever.
That's a great transition because the next question is Dan Foster Jr., aspiring NFL linebacker, fails if fill in the blank.
You never fail. I feel like you only fail if you don't try. Literally. Every loss is never a loss, it's always a lesson, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man, you already ready. Matter of fact, you ready for press conferences too. You ready
man,
to make the plays.
Man, I would be lying if I sit here and told you I always had this mindset or this perspective.
Yeah.
But you know, it comes with growth over time and just going through different trials and tribulations. And I feel like that's what scoped in me today. Like just understanding that, hey, you don't always have the answers, you know.
Yeah.
It comes with time, you know what I mean? So like just being my circle and the people I got around me, I feel like I built it strong. Forward tough, you know. My mom always say that. My mom probably got in her Instagram bio. Forward tough.
One of the greatest mistakes in the history of ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm was not having this guy, Dan Foster Jr., on the ESPN Top 63 list.
God, man.
Heartbroken. What I will say is this, though. At the end of the day, you'll prove us wrong, quote unquote, but you'll be proving so many more people and yourself right when you go out and do this thing the way you've been doing it. From Riviera Beach to Dwyer,
yes, sir,
to Marshall, to Texas State, to Louisville.
Yeah, man.
And beyond, man.
And then just being at all those different places, man, I feel like it all comes with different culture and like just different background. Like going to Marshall, you're in the middle of the mountains and you're a part of this history-rich place. And then like, you know, like being a part of that family, like you around diehard fans, and then you go to a school that hasn't had much success in Texas State. And you get there and you turn around the whole program with 1 year.
Yeah.
I was a key piece of the defense, you know what I mean? And just like, and then going from there, and then they helped headline me, and now I'm going to a P4 school in Louisville, which is known for South Florida guys, Lamar Jackson, Teddy Bridgewater, Tutu Atwell, and I could just keep going on. And the guys that are there now, South Florida guys, you know? So it's just crazy, man, crazy journey, and just all blessings, man, and all thanks to God, man.
Well, we're going to be rooting for you here. Not that you need it, but also
I do. I need the hometown support, man. I love Palm Beach, man. Always, man.
Yeah.
561, baby.
Many props to you, what you've done already. Good luck in the draft. Continue training hard. Good luck with all of that. We'll stay in touch. And again, thanks for taking some time out to chop it up with us, Doc.
Most definitely. Theo the GOAT, man.